our parents did it. It's going to be by us buying one pair of Tom's shoes that turns into another pair of Tom's shoes. Okay? A few years ago, you guys were among the first to know about Tom's shoes because you joined us on walks, and people were like, "Who's Tom's shoes?" And now every
Tom character.
What's Tom? Now, a few years later, you see him everywhere, right? You were on the front line. I don't know if you know that, but you guys were among the very first to spread the word about what Tom's has done.
And thanks
you were one of the
to
first
all,
to put your shoes on.
Yeah, and thanks to you all initially, that first big goal of 50,000 shoes were delivered to kids throughout sub-Saharan Africa because of you all's willingness to show up, you all's willingness to take your shoes off, you all's willingness to say, "Oh, that's a great idea, I will buy a pair of shoes." And through that process, the initial goal back in 2007 of selling 50,000 pairs of shoes to give another 50,000 away was reached because you all were willing to be on the front lines. You were willing to take action, not just talk about it. You were willing to do something that most people, especially journalists who we talk to, look at us with a confused look on their face.
What?
You're taking your shoes off? You're doing what?
Who does that really help?
I mean, seriously. Well, actually, who it helps is us as individual people, because ultimately we have the opportunity to relate in a different way than we do with our shoes on. When we take our shoes off, it gives us the opportunity to understand what it is like to not have something that is so basic that we take it for granted every single day. And that's what that is about. That's what the dollar is about. And that's what you all showing up and doing something that people look at us and say, "You realize there are needles and glass in the street." And I'm like, "Where are you going to get AIDS?" That's not going to happen.
I want to say something. We're going to keep this walk going in just a minute. But earlier this summer, we hadn't walked in the summertime.
It hurt.
It was hot. Let me tell you what. We've walked in the sun. We've walked in cold. We've walked in rain. Many of you have joined us on those. It gets pretty nasty. And one of those particular walks, I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. All right? And I was talking to a few young ladies, and they were complaining about their feet. Okay? And look, we get it. You didn't sign up necessarily for all of this, but if you're here, this is what it's about. And I said it in one of our speeches, I said, you know what? If you're worried about your feet, picture this. And this isn't exaggerating, but I'm going to say it without yelling at you. You are 9 years old. You woke up today in a shack that has no plumbing, has no electricity. You have a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old brother. They are looking to you to be their parent. You've lost both your parents. You have no access to education. You can't even spell your name. Okay? That is who you're walking for. That's who you're walking for. This is not a vanity project. This is about getting some shit done. Okay? This is about building a school so that somebody grows up and knows how to spell their name and knows how to change their situation, to earn money, to become a productive member of society. You're not obligated to help somebody in Africa. You guys know that. But it's an incredible opportunity to have the time to take out and go see shows and take walks and buy Hanson merchandise. You're in the privileged group of people, a few people in the world that really have excess. Even if you don't feel like you have excess, you do. So this is not about feeling bad about it. This is not about talking to other people about what you did today and being pious. But this is about realizing that you can get a lot done. And our generation, I think, is right on the precipice of deciding to be the poor example that says, look at all this information, look at all this freedom of communication, look at all of this wealth that we have. We're going to blow it. Or we look at our cell phones. Who's got a cell phone? Come on, everyone has a cell phone. Who has a camera? Or a camera on their cell phone? You all have a communication device, an ability to share something with the world. Who are you going to talk to? Who are you going to influence? We have a field of influence, and so do you. The way the walks have grown has been through you. So, a reminder that in this crazy walk thing that we started doing, the growth, the biggest growth, the leadership has happened because 2 years ago we said you can be the leader. And many of you have joined walks with other people. Some have been leaders. We have watched walks from Tokyo to Sydney to London, right here in this town, right here in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in Seattle, organized just like this. Just a bunch of crazy people willing to get their shoes, take their shoes off, and walk down the street barefoot. But what
Not with us.
Yeah, not with us.
Right.
People that are leading, like you guys. I don't want somebody to come to a walk and say, well, Hanson's walking, here we go. I want him to say, my friend, put your name there, told me about how we can save lives by walking barefoot for a mile. Who knew? This is the beginning. You guys are on the front line. And sometimes it's lonely out there on the front line.
Leadership is lonely.
So get out there.
That's why it's called leadership.
Revel in the fact that people look at you like with cross eyes. And they go, what the hell? Umbach is walking and you guys are doing this. It doesn't even make sense. But what you're doing is inspirational.
Yeah, all right. Aren't there still 12?
Yeah. He's like, yeah. Give him a number for a CAT scan. You guys are amazing. You're inspirational. You remind us why we do this every day, and it is about the everyday. Wow. He's like, I do not like the speech. This is about the everyday. Okay. This is about doing something that is not flashy, that's not glitzy, and about getting something done for real. And more than anything, we want to say thank you. You guys are among the few. So go for us. Cheers for us. Everybody that's walking barefoot especially, thank you. I remind you guys and encourage you to take those shoes off if you're afraid to. Either way, it's amazing that you're here. We got about half a mile to go. Everybody that's walking, say, I took the walk!
I took the walk!
If you're ready to keep going, say, let's walk!